Everyone's saying recession's coming. What I know for sure is that costs are up, gas prices are up, there's more competition. It's getting harder and harder out there. So what is a person to do? Well, I got several tips for you today, whether you do this part-time, full-time, whether you sell on eBay or locally. These tips can help you either way. I'm going to show you some stuff that I buy and sell. I'm going to show you some things I come across, some ideas, and other things that I'm already using in my store. These are already helping me, and I hope they can help you too. Let's check it out.
A 1 and a 2 and Rusty the reseller, he'll sell you the shirt off his back. Well, I have done it.
Freebies. If you have something that, let's say you bought a lot of, I don't know, I bought probably 1,200 little pins from McDonald's, they're all McDonald's brand last year, and I did very well on those. I paid about $12 a bag, and I bought like 10 bags of them. But after I'd sold maybe 50 of those pins, I made all my money back. All the pins that are left, my cost of goods is gone. And so now it's just a matter of making profit. So what would I do? Whenever I had other McDonald's-oriented or McDonald's-themed items that I put them up in the store, when they sold, I would send a little pin in with it. Now, I could sell that pin for $1, $2, but when that person gets their item in the mail and they open it up and they see that I've put a little something extra in there, you know what that does? Not only does it make them super excited and happy, sometimes they even send me a message, but what it does is it says that I care as a seller, and they are more likely to come and maybe even follow my store because I was generous, I was kind. I might even send a little message in that thing saying, check out our store for other items. Thanks so much for your purchase. Here's a little something extra. So if you're trying to think of ways to set yourself apart, send little extras. If you have tons and tons of one item, somebody buys one and you can afford to give them two for one, do that, because people are going to, it will not go unnoticed, and can generate more traffic for your store, particularly if you're selling on platforms like eBay or Etsy. Other things you can do, folks, is just print off little thank you notes. You have to type it one time. You print them out on paper. It costs you next to nothing. The other thing is, do not neglect to write positive reviews for people who buy from you. If you're sending little notes, if you're sending them freebies, if you're giving them positive reviews, all of these things, though small and take a little bit of your time, will pay dividends eventually. It's all about customer service, and the people who are selling on their platforms, who sell at good prices and have good customer service, those are the places that people will come back to buy similar items. Let me show you a few things that I picked up today, and I'll talk about why I got them. First off, right here we got, these are little, they say custom. I think this is for a Ford Custom. They're little signs that would go on to a vehicle. I got 2 of them. I'll be able to sell each of them for the cost of buying the whole thing. I think I paid $8 for these. I can sell each of them for probably $10 to $15, okay? Here's a little jar, a little old vintage pill bottle, and it's got a real wide mouth. I like these because this is how slide guitar started. It was with these little bottles. People would put them on their hand, on their finger, and then they would slide on the neck of the guitar, and that's how, anytime I find these for under $5, I'll buy them. If you advertise it the right way, you can sell them pretty well at different places like eBay. This is a vintage, kind of hand-carved, a little wooden paddle, and I don't know if it's actually a paddle or if it's what its use was, but these vintage handmade items, these are antiques. This is from like kind of western North Carolina. These things can sell really well. Probably put this in an antique store in Asheville because it's a high tourist area, and people like authentic things from the regions that they're traveling to for vacations. They're also planning to spend money. That's kind of why they're out at about, and they want to bring something back. This car right here, I just paid $1 for at an antique store, and I'll probably sell this for $15 to $20. It's one of those 1 to 24 scale Ward Burton Caterpillar. It's a nice condition. This was it's kind of a new old stock. It's never been opened. It was $1.50. It's an oyster knife. I've come into some vintage handmade oyster knives recently and done very, very well with them. And so because I've been kind of following those and seeing how they sold, I figured I could sell this for $5 or $6. That won't be too hard. Digging through old bin of toys, I found this old vintage transformer. So this by itself will probably sell pretty well. I think I paid 25 cents for it. Speaking of toys, I'm going to show you right over here. I bought each of these little boxes for between $2 and $3. You can see this one's got a Thomas the Train in it. I'm going to be doing a sale here a little bit later in a couple of months. It's a big toy and kids-related items, and you can sell up to 200 items. That includes bundles of toys. So when I buy a bundle like this for $2, I'll bundle this up in a bag and sell it for $10. So $2, $4, $6, $8, $10 or less on this lot, and then I'm going to throw them out there for $10. The second or third day, they reduce it by 50%, and if it doesn't sell at 10, it'll sell for 5, and I've still doubled my money. It's very easy to do. Here's I paid $2 for this. This is like a Ninja Turtle kind of plastic shell you put on to pretend dress up like a Ninja Turtle. It doesn't come with the swords or anything like that, but again, this will sell pretty well. I could put $10 on, $8 to $10 on that if I was selling it locally, no problem, or on eBay, probably even a little bit more. This right here is a nice, it's to carry a fishing pole and probably like a fly rod. You can open it up, it's real nice, great condition, $3 on that, very easy to sell. Here is, this is the micro machines, as you can see, for Star Wars. You've got a variety of these old, you got like a Scout Trooper up there, and some others. $2 for this, never been opened. The box is in terrible condition, but even so, micro machines are kind of coming back. I love to find old Star Wars stuff in packages. And that brings us to the last items here, which are empty jewelry containers. I'm going to open these up, and you can see this right here says Greenfield in Edison, New Jersey. What does this one say? Nicholas. And this one, I don't believe it says anything, but it's for a bracelet. Now, folks, if you're not familiar, old vintage ring, bracelet, jewelry boxes by themselves can sell pretty well. 50 cents on that, 25 cents on this one, and $1 on that. Now, why would I buy these? Well, these are not the kind that actually sell for tons of money. But one of my tips, folks, is when I find little containers, jewelry boxes, to sell jewelry, I'll buy them and I'll put the jewelry in them. It, in some cases, will increase the price I can command for it. And if not increasing the price, if someone's looking at it and they're looking at someone else's and theirs is just a loose piece of jewelry and mine comes in a little box, they're going to buy mine, because the presentation is there and they get more for their money. And that's going to be the theme of this video. People right now want more for their money because things are tight, things are expensive. So if they're buying it as a gift for somebody, they don't have to find a box. It comes with it. I pick these up anytime I can, folks. That's a little tip. Try to get jewelry boxes. If you can get them for cheap like that, 25 cents, 50 cents, the likelihood that you'll sell it will go up. You might even make more money from it. The last little thing I found here, forgot, is this, 50 cents. This is a piece of carved jade. And I don't know exactly if that's like I guess that's like a butterfly. I don't know what the symbol represents, some sort of infinity type symbol. This is like an Asian design. Of course, jade comes from Asia, among other places. But anyhow, this will be very easy to sell and make money on for 50 cents. It's these loose, small items, folks, that make up the majority of what we sell. And, you know, they add up. We do volume on them. You don't have to sell super high dollar items in order to have a business for yourself online. Think about packaging. It kind of goes along with what I was just talking about, folks. What you have here are a variety of little pink and darker colored pink and red corundum sapphires from Western North Carolina that I, Rusty himself has mined and found through surface collecting and other types of collecting. These things, I'll put them on a scale, I'll measure the carat weight, and I'll sell them as authentic North Carolina corundum specimens. I just have to write the carat weight on them, and the presentation on this is nice. You can take a nice picture. Otherwise, I'd have to find a way to put this in some spot spot where I can make a nice photo on it, but it's all nice and contained. Not only can I sell this online, but I can sell this in little antique stores and stuff locally, people traveling through the area. These things cost almost nothing, folks. I have a person I met through Reselling that hooked me up with a bunch of these. And you know, when someone else is selling something, if you're looking at just like a little keepsake or a little memento of a trip, this is very easy. It's very easy to package. You don't lose track of it. It looks nice just sitting that on a counter or something on a shelf can work really well. But what I did was I took a bunch of stuff. They're just rocks, folks, but they are gemstone specimens, and I'm going to clean them up. I'm going to weigh them, and I'm going to put them out. These things cost almost nothing, but I guarantee I'll see an increase in my sales simply because they're sitting in one of these. While we're on the subject, let me go ahead and show you an example from my store today. I'll do it, I'll record myself doing it on my phone, and I'll show you so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. Here you can see we are in my eBay store here, one of my eBay stores, and if you scroll down here, you're going to see this little section right here in the middle that says send offer to buyers. And you can see it says 25. I already did this morning, and since this morning, 25 more items are being watched. So I pull up here and look at this. If I scroll down, you're going to see all these items I have for sale. A lot of these are postcards and stuff. So we can just pick a postcard. Why don't we do that? Let's pick this one right here. A picture postcard from Normal, Illinois. You click on it. And then it says, actually, no, let me back up here. Click on the send offer. See that says above there, send offer. Click on that. And how much? It's being priced at $17.99. I'm going to go ahead and just put this at $14.99. Okay, click review offer. Submit the offer. Now look, I've offered 16.68% off. When this buyer gets it, hopefully they'll buy it. I'm going to go through now and do all of their 24. If only 2 or 3 of those sell, it's fine. Those are sales I wouldn't have had otherwise, all because I sent an offer. One tip of something that you can do right now to try to increase sales is a particular strategy that is geared towards increasing the number of people who are watching or following your store. So I'm talking about potential repeat customers. A lot of people who are looking for certain things on eBay are one and done. They're looking for a particular item. When they find it and they buy it, they move on. But if you have a store that is something you operate in, whether it's part-time or full-time, you would love to have lots of people coming back who are satisfied with what they got the first time to buy more items. One thing I do, and this was a tip that was given to me by someone else, I didn't come up with this, is if you have items that, let's say you bought a lot of 100 items and you sold 10 of them and you made all your money back, so now everything that you have, if you lost all of them, if you made no money on them, it wouldn't be a big deal. It's a potential profit loss, but it's not a cost to you, right? Take a few of these things. You could do it every week or you could do it every month and run them as an auction at either 1 cent or 99 cents, okay? People are watching these things all the time. Penny auctions, 99-cent auctions, things where you start the price super low. What this does is it generates a buzz for your store. Now, are you making loads of money off of these when they sell for a penny or 99 cents? No. But the point of this tip is not to make loads of money off of that one item. But the point of this trick is not to make tons of money off of this one item. Look at it as an investment in marketing for your store. You've already made your money on that item. If you don't sell it for a ton, it doesn't matter. What you do is you put a little statement in your description of these items that says, check out our store for lots more similar items. Check out our store for dozens of penny auctions. And so a person gets excited. Well, I wonder if old Rusty has any more of these items that I could buy really cheap. And you're driving way more traffic to your store. Why don't you try this out for a month? If you did a few of these each week, take a look before you start at the number of people who are following your store. Do it for a month and take a look at the number of people who are following your store. I would not be surprised if you increase the number of followers and people who are watching you, folks, that are potential buyers, and you want more and more people to come back. That's one trick that I use. I sell a lot of things by it now, but I also run things at auction, and then I'll throw in a smattering of these really cheap items to try to drive traffic. Sure, you can spend money on Google SEO. Sure, you can spend money to try to promote your items, pay more per item listing to promote that one individual item. But this is geared towards not just promoting that individual item, it's promoting your store as a whole. Another tip is to spend time finding ways to sell items locally, not just online. I sell in an antique store. I sometimes sell off of social market, social platforms like Facebook Marketplace, places like that. And then here's a quick little offshoot off of this video to show you something that Peaches and I bumped into the other day. We were heading down, we were sourcing, and we ran into this festival. It was called the Bigfoot Festival in Marion, North Carolina. And it was a hoot. I'm going to show you a quick montage of what we did. But the punchline here is that I discovered something locally to sell at that I am committed to doing next year. I'm going to have a booth at the Marion, North Carolina Bigfoot Festival next year because it was such an awesome experience. And so one of the tips in increasing your sales during a recession is to expand your sales opportunities. Don't just sell on the platforms that you're selling at right now. Increase the number of places you can sell at. And when you're out in the local community and you find places like pop-up sales, antique stores, or whatever else, consider selling at multiple places because you never know what's going to happen. Here, take a look at this and you tell me if you don't think it just looks like a hoot. Very nice. A big thing that I have done in the last 2 months is to substitute one day that I would typically go out and source and instead get into those piles of items that have not sold, that have sat around for a long time, and discount them heavily. If you haven't listed them yet, spend time doing those pictures and listing them, or go into your store, the stuff that hasn't sold, and reduce it by 20 or 30%. Maybe delist it, sell that similar item, put it back in there at a discounted amount. I do that actually at the beginning of every month. I'll delist everything in the store, relist maybe 70-80% of it, and then the other amount I'll list as an auction. So I've got auctions going at all times, and also buy it now's going. It works. When you do this particular thing where you're subbing a day, where you're going out driving around sourcing, by investing that in your store, not only are you saving money that because you would have been spending money that day, so you're saving that money, you're keeping that money in-house that you would have spent on an item, you're doing something to increase the chances that you will make money, and you're also saving your gas money. You can afford to lay off at least one day. That's the most fun part about the reselling, is the excitement, the going, the finding the item. Oh, look at how much this costs. They don't know what it is. I'm going to sell it for more money. Just take a little bit of self-discipline. Don't go out. If you do that once a week, that's 4 different days that you're saving gas money, 4 different days that you're pushing things out through the store and selling them potentially that would have just been sitting in the warehouse. Folks, did you know that you can run store sales on eBay? If I'm, really trying to conserve my money and I'm trying to figure out what item is best to buy, I'm probably more likely going to buy from somebody who's selling something on sale, right? So one little trick you could do in your store, and I've seen it work before, we've tried it before, is to list your items, mark them at the price that you're comfortable selling them at. Then whatever that amount is, increase it by 10%, the actual price of it. And then, like if it's $9, mark it up to $10, but then go into your seller platform in eBay and mark a 10% sale. Because whenever a buyer's going through and they see it, it's going to show the original price, it's going to show a marked through, and it's going to say 10% off. And people actually respond to that. They don't know what you're doing on the back end. They don't know what you spent on it. All they see is an item that they're interested in that's on sale. It doesn't work all the time, but it is definitely worth a try. Right now, we're having to try different things to try to set ourselves apart. Another great thing to do to increase your sales is to send offers to anybody who is interested in your item. If you use eBay like I do, you can use a mobile app as well as a desktop. Either way, you can see where someone is watching your item. Every morning, I get up and the very first thing I do when it comes to work is I go down the list of items that someone is watching and I send them an offer. The way I run my business is, of course, I know what my cost on an item is. I figure out what a comparative sale of that item has been, if there is one. I price it accordingly. But I'm always pricing it higher than what I would accept. And most people know that, right? Buyers a lot of times won't buy it outright. They'll just watch it. And they're hoping that you're going to send them an offer to purchase it at a lower price than you have listed. Sometimes they will send you offers, but sometimes they don't. The fact that they didn't send you an offer doesn't mean they're not interested in buying it. It may be that they're waiting for you to take that step. In times when you're competing with other people in a highly competitive market, how do you set yourself apart? Well, if they watch 5 similar items and yours is one of them, and then you are the only one out of the 5 that says, hey, I'll sell it to you for $2 or $3 less, then they're more likely to buy your item. This happens to me on a daily basis. I make sales every week, multiple times a week, from people who accepted offers I sent them. So if I have a $20 item that I only paid $1 for, and it's very easy for me to do that. They're looking at it at $20. Now, in times when things are good, no recession, prices are low, I don't have to sell that $20 item for less than $20. Sure, it might take me 3 more months to sell it, but I can let it sit. But anymore, folks, we're trying to push those sales. So I might offer them $15. And here's the great part. When that buyer gets that offer, it doesn't just say $5 off. It says 25% off in this example of something that's $20. So you got 5 people who have something for sale for $20. I'm offering it for $15. I'm going to make that sale, folks. Sure, I you know, I forwent potentially $4 or $5 that I could have made 3 months from now, but I want that $15 today, folks. So I'm sending those offers. Please consider sending offers. And if that means you have to change the way you price things, price them up a little bit, knowing full well that you're going to offer less, by all means do it. There isn't just one way to operate a successful online business, whether you're in eBay or Etsy or any of those big platforms or even smaller ones. There's no right or wrong way. Everyone has ways that work well for them. But this is a tip that has worked for me all the time. I don't know what the actual number is. Let's call it 1 out of 10. But I have more than 10 items that I get watchers on every single day. So if 1 out of those 10 purchase because I send them an offer, it was well worth my time. It only takes a few seconds. So far, most of the things I've been talking about have been ways of directly increasing your sales. Here's one that's going to be a little bit more indirect, and that would be find a way to take care of your inefficiencies when it comes to your time. When you work for yourself, it's very difficult to be regimented and disciplined because you can fall into the trap of just doing whatever you feel like doing on that particular day, and that is not really the best way to run a business. It helps me to schedule things out for myself. I've found that I'm much more efficient with my time if I do that. My schedule is pretty simple. I have certain tasks and I do them at the same time on the same days. So I've already mentioned in this video that I send offers to people. That is the very first thing I do when I get up and start working, is I send offers. The second thing that I do is I do that day's fulfillment. So if I have any items that have sold, I print off the shipping labels and I package them up, and I either take them to where they need to go to be shipped off, or I schedule online with the U.S. Postal Service for them to come the next day and pick up my packages. It's a free service. If you get an account that is for free on the U.S. Postal Service site, you can schedule for free any number of packages and they'll come get them for you. So I highly suggest you to figure out what times a day you work the best and find a schedule and stick to it. Increasing your efficiency with time does translate to higher sales, because you will essentially, you're not wasting time, and you're going to be able to list more. You're going to be able to save more money, whether it's during the times when you're sourcing or what. A few things that I have done is that instead of going out 2, 3, 4 days a week for 2 or 3 hours at a time, I pick a certain day of the week, and that is a sourcing day, and I source all day long on that day. I don't mess around a little bit sourcing and mess around doing other stuff. That's inefficient. So I have A weeks and I have B weeks. The only difference between A and B is that on A weeks I may only source 1 day, and on B weeks I source 2 days. That's it. Otherwise, I send offers, I do fulfillment, I will do, clean-in, repair work, photograph work, and then I list things in my store. And that is the course of my day. So whatever works best for you, if you're a morning person or if you're an evening person, pick those blocks of time, schedule yourself out, have it posted someplace, and stick to it. I promise you, it will improve your business. Folks, another tip is to look at your own items to sell. What? Right. It's not a bad thing to simplify, to scale down. I guarantee you got some stuff around your house you don't need anymore, don't want. A lot of times, people just pack those things up in boxes and they send them off to the Goodwill or someplace. Consider selling some of the stuff that you don't need. Let me show you some stuff. Just walking through one of the garage bays here at the warehouse, I just noticed today that I got a bunch of tools I don't need, folks. Those represent dollar bills, and I could certainly use those. Goodness, folks, look at this. I mean, just look at all the screwdrivers. Look at all these screwdrivers. Flathead, Phillips, Star, everything in between. I don't need all of these. I know I kept them because they were vintage Craftsman's, but I need 2, right? I need 1 to use, and then if it breaks or if I lose it, I got a backup. All of these others I don't need. I've got, 2, 3 hammers up here. I can keep 2 hammers and sell the other 2. I mean, as I move across, I got clamps. Look at all of these snips I got. 2 pairs of snips, folks, is all I need. Maybe a couple different sizes, sure, but I don't need all of those. I got a nice little wrench set here, but I got some adjustable wrenches. I had a bunch. I have probably 12 of these inside. I've already gone through and started sorting them, but that's exactly what I'm talking about, folks. If I reduce this a little bit, I'm going to be happy to have that money. I can either reinvest it in the business, or I can save that in case things get difficult. I would highly recommend that you try this out yourself. Go look in closets, in your attic, in your basement, in your garage. You never know when there's something sitting there you don't need anymore. You could use that money for sure. This is going to be the most obvious one of them all, folks, but if you want to sell more items, you should list more items. I know, it's super common sense, right? But think of it like this. If you have a certain number of items that you list in your store per week, let's call it 20 items. If you look around, especially if you use one of my other tips in trying to be more efficient with your time, you'll find you have more time to devote towards listing items. If you made yourself a goal just to list, say, 5 more items a week, so go from 20 to 25 items, you expand that out over the whole year, that's going to translate to more sales. It's a volume game, folks. Some people sell large volumes of items at very cheap prices, and other people sell very few items at very high dollar prices, and then everything in between that. But it is a numbers game. If you are going to sell only a certain percentage of your items at any given time, it would probably be the same if you had 10 items or 1,000 items. But 10% of 10 and 10% of 1,000, that's a big difference. So if you could find a way, find some time, maybe don't watch that TV show for an hour once a week, and take that hour and list 5 more items. By the end of the year, you're going to have increased the number of things in your store significantly. And the more you have, the more you sell. When I only had 200 items in my store, I had a certain amount of sales. Over time, as I've been more efficient, and I've loaded that store up over time, I have thousands of items in my store now, and I make a lot more today than I did then. And it's partly because I've gotten smarter in my business, but I'm selling a lot of the same types of items that I did then. I just have more of them to sell. And so I would just say, try to commit yourself. I mean, if we are really about to hit a recession, if it's going to get hard, you might have to work just a smidgen harder to keep up the pace, because it's getting more and more competitive out there. As we talked about, prices are up now. They may not be coming back down anytime soon. So one very obvious way to increase your sales is work a little bit more, not a ton more. Put more items in that store. The more you have available, the more people can buy from you. In summary, folks, use a few of these ideas and see what happens. See if it can help your business. Send thank you notes and give prompt, positive feedback to people who purchase things from you. Give them little freebies and a little extra thing in that package if you can afford it. Run a store sale from time to time. Mark things down 10, 15, 20, 50% if you need to get that sale. Make small lots of similar items. If you have one thing in a particular category and you can pair it with another to increase the chance of selling it, then do that. You should substitute a sourcing day for a listing day. So if you go out 3 days a week, cut that back to 2 days a week. Spend that third day listing stuff in your store. You'll save gas money, you'll save the money you would have spent, and you'll increase sales, hopefully. Invest in attractive packaging, whether that's for jewelry or other items. Put it in some sort of container that you can get for cheap, because it will set your piece apart. Take the opportunity to expand to another sales area. Maybe that's a second online place. Maybe that's some places locally that you can sell. Expand the areas that you sell in to reach more people. Make sure you're sending offers when people watch your items on eBay or on Etsy, places like that. Send offers to people to try to draw in those buyers. Be more efficient with your time. Figure out when you're efficient, make a schedule for yourself, and stick to it. You'll have less wasted time that way. Consider running penny or 99-cent auctions from time to time with some of your items in order to drive traffic to your site. It'll increase the number of people who watch your store. It'll increase the number of people who come back and are repeat buyers. Look at it as marketing. You're not going to lose money on what you're selling. You won't make as much on that, but you'll more than make up for it in the increased sales with the things that sell in the rest of your store. list more items. Bottom line, if you list 5 in a day, increase that to 6. If you list 100 in a week, increase that to 110. You will not be disappointed. Find things that you don't use anymore, don't need anymore, and sell them. Go through your closet, your attic, your basement, wherever you need to look. I'm sure you can find some things to sell and put a little bit extra cash in your pocket. Well, shoot, folks, that ought to get you started. I hope truly that you're able to make this a really good year, come a recession or not. Stay ahead of that. Be smart with your business. We'll get through this together. Good luck to you.
Beat-o, boop, boop, let's go make some money. Rusty, 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 have to. Rusty, 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 have to. Rusty, Rusty.